Uh-oh. Hey, you made it. So did I. I'm John Zidar, aka the Stock Wizard. You're watching On Top and Hot Live, where we like to look at hot penny stocks. Normally it's me doing the presenting. Well, it is going to be me doing the presenting, but it's you that has brought me the hot tickers this week. So thank you very much for participating. I appreciate it. I always feel like this is a blind date. You know, the first time we meet, I just don't know what to say to you. So the best thing to do is say hi. I'm glad to have you all here. I got my crew and gang here. Velmore, Mark, Underdog. You never gave me another one, dude. Let me see. Oh, let me see what I see here. Yeah, you gave me RDAC. I thought that was like at $10, and I didn't see you bring me in another one. So sorry, buddy. We're not going to look at RDAC, but we got Velmores, we got Marks, we got Dino Trades. Yes, we got you covered. Lee, really? Come on, man. SKYX again. It's not exactly a hot stock. It is climbing, but geez, how many times can we look at it? Thank God this time we've actually got new news to consider. So it's all good, friend. So we're going to jump right onto this. Thank you, Stephanie. You're just in time. I see you jumping in there. I see you made to trade 20. Thank you. I looked at your Sky T. I think you might be right. That might be better than SKYX. I didn't get a close look, though, because you got that in here just in the last few minutes. All right. I've got things all set up for a few of these tickers already. So let's just dive into this and see what we've got going on. Make sure everything works right here for you. Yes, we're on board. All right, this first ticker we're going to take a look at actually came from somebody not here with us right now. This came from Espresso, a follower on Twitter. He brought me some information last night that I found very, very interesting. And he asked if I could cover it today. And I said, absolutely, no doubt it. So we're looking at ticker MWWC, Marketing Worldwide Corporation. These notes right there are for me, so I know how to get this information off to you because it was interesting. It's not in the news, and the filings, I wasn't able to find it. Well, that's because it was all really buried in Twitter. You've got to consider Twitter as part of your due diligence, folks. It's not exactly a news site. I mean, it is, but you know, some things you read aren't true. Some things you read are. So we take it with a grain of salt, but that's what we're considering. So this is MWWC based here in the United States and Texas. This is Marketing Worldwide Corporation. Now, I want to dive right into the information just so we don't get lost here. So I'm going to dive on over here. And what is his name? Robert Blagman. Robert Blagman. Why am I going to Robert Blagman? I'll show you why. It is that picture right there. When we come over here, if we go over here to the website for Market Worldwide Corporation, there's very little here. It's pretty much this, no matter what link you click. They're telling you things are changing. We're doing something different now. And this is all the information we get. But right there, TCO Robert Blagman. So when you come over here to Robert Blagman's Twitter account, we come down to this here. We are moving media fusion into MWWC, creating one of the strongest emerging global media and technology platforms in the industry. At the center of this transformation is our fully signed 3-year global agreement with Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, Warner Brothers right now is in the midst of a merger with Netflix. This is happening at the same time. This is not going to be bumped because of that merger. This is happening at the same time. It's all going on. This is going to be a landmark partnership that anchors our international rollout of Hollywood After Dark. The company MWWC has this thing called Hollywood After Dark. It's supposed to be like Playboy After Dark. I have no idea what that is. I never heard of it. I never watched it. I can only guess. Well, what Hollywood After Dark is supposed to be is celebrities, some hidden celebrities that they'll find, and they are going to host at a club in Hollywood, Los Angeles. And they will invite 30 to 50 regular civilians to come to the club as well. And they're going to film that whole thing. They'll have guest music, all sorts of things going on. And that's what they're building with AI incorporated into it. Lots of information that we just don't have. This is all we really have right here. This agreement is the foundation of our global strategy, and it reflects the confidence of one of the most respected media companies in the world. We are now adding additional broadcast, cable, and digital partners across key markets, expanding the reach and the impact of the franchise. Through our Global Media Alliance, we remain one of the few companies capable of reaching nearly 3 billion consumers across TV, digital, FAST, and emerging platforms. I do believe FAST stands for free advertising streaming television. I think that's what it is. We are also integrating AI-driven production and monetization technology, positioning us at the cutting edge of the next generation media where content, data, and commerce converge. Key executives are joining the mission. The transition is underway. The foundation is solid. The momentum is real. Goo-goo! More updates coming soon. And that's what we got right there, folks. We can dive into the news. We can dive into the filings. You're not going to find a whole lot, if any, information. I wasn't able to find it. That was all I found. Now, the neat thing here is, let me go back one more time. I want to go to my page, and I want to go back to when I initially put this in, because there was a lot of buzz that came up while I was looking at this last night. And I just want you to see that it is in writing, at least from me. Oh, lots of news. I post lots of information every single day, every single night, right there. Signs 3-year global agreement with Warner Brothers Discovery, a foundation for MWWC's international launch of Hollywood After Dark, incorporating AI-driven production and monetization, expanding reach across broadcast, cable, digital, and free advertising supported streaming TV. I was close. Looks like this billionaire named Ted Ralston owns 2.6 billion shares of the company stock. He's been buying a bunch of it. There are filings on this with another company, I think ticker CTOR. I'm not quite sure. I saw him last night. I had Espresso actually look him up for me because I was having a hard time finding information. But he has been investing very heavily into this company right now. And there are a lot of people who are now believing that this company is going to reach $3.50 to $5 a share. Now, did you happen to notice what the price was? Look at that. 0.0035. And you're talking $3.50. Folks, you're going up. Is that 1,000 or is that 10,000%? I think it's like 10,000% increase. That is a huge, huge jump, folks, if it was to go there. Now, that means if you were to invest $100 at this price right now, which is really dirt cheap, that would be worth $10,000 if it got up to $3.50. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's going to go to $3.50, but there's talk. This is a big merger. This is a little itty bitty tiny company getting in with Warner Brothers. That is something to consider, right? The stock seems to have not moved today. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I'll have to take a look at it. This is on the bottom tier of the OTC, the ID, which we used to call the pinks, which is the riskiest tier, the riskiest place that you can trade stocks on the open market. For one reason, there is very little, if any, validated information down on this level. You don't get financials normally. Well, you do, but they're called disclosures. This is what management gives to us. They're just a tally of the money they made and the money they spent. So they say. We've got to take their word for everything. There are no filings to back up most of the news we hear. It is just stuff being spoke of out there. So I am giving you a heads up. Not that this is a bad company, but it's on that tier where you have to be careful. I've lost more money on this tier than any other tier, at least $50,000. I have lost because I believed the news. I believed the words. Look, folks, I've learned since then. Believe the filings. That's what you believe. Believe the filings. We don't have filings here. So take it all with a grain of salt. Be cautious. Don't put your house down on this thinking you're going to become a millionaire. You might, but you might just lose everything you put into it. So be careful, okay? So let's get some information now. Let's see what we do have for news here. There's nothing here. This is all 2023. Every single bit of it. There's not one piece of news here for 2024 or 2025. Looking at their disclosures, we've got a quarterly report, which is their disclosures. That's their financial. But as I said, these aren't audited by CPAs. They're just tallies handed off to us. But you can get some information in there. Again, take it with a grain of salt. And then down here are SEC filings. Nothing since 2013. So we have no news. We have no filings. All we've got is one tweet. And they're throwing around some big names out there. So this is what's exciting, and this is also what's dangerous. Taking a look at the relative volume for MWWC today, that's a nice jump. She's been doing about 31 million shares down here on the OTC over the last 30 days. Today, she did 172 million. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of shares down on the OTC, and it really is, because on the OTC, we don't do many shares. Let's see if I warm this up, refreshing it. Okay, 4.3 billion shares is what we did for the entire OTC market. There are over 12,000 companies on the OTC market, and they had to divide all those 4.3 billion. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but back before COVID, the OTC market was doing between 60 and 70 billion shares a day. A day. Now we're lucky if we can hit 5 billion. Lucky. We barely ever hit 5 billion. And there's lots and lots of companies that get no shares day after day after day. They're on the market, but nobody's buying or selling. They're just stifled. So today we did 172 million shares at a very, very cheap price, but that's a huge jump right there. We're doing about 5 times more of volume. Share structure for the company. Oh God, is that ugly. Outstanding share count is just under 6 billion shares, 5.7 billion. The insiders own about 1/10 of those, 600 million, and we get all the rest, over 5 billion shares. Now, of course, I'm going to tell you, be weary, leery, and scared. There could be a reverse stock split. If this stock does get hot, if it starts running, if it gets up to the double zeros, then you got to start concerning yourself with the fact there could be a reverse stock split. If it runs for 3 or 4 days straight in the double zeros, closing in on the penny, this is when we see most reverse stock splits happen. Now, in saying that, they have to have had one approved. You just can't use a reverse stock split anytime you want. You have to have it approved in advance. So they had to have had a shareholders meeting, voted on it, approved it, and it would be sitting there on the back shelf waiting to be used. Now, you could go through all their filings, looking, seeing if they've got one. That could take a while, considering they've got no filings, right? Or you could just go to Google. God, I don't know how easy it would be with the OTC ID, but put in their ticker, put in the name of the company, put in vote, and put in share consolidation split. And just see if they voted on one. See if anything comes up. That would be my big concern. Whoa. Now, how did that just happen? It just went up to 4 cents, or not 4 cents, 0004. This is on the OTC. The OTCs do not trade pre-market, after-market. You normally have to pay to buy and sell your shares on the OTC. Every transaction costs you. You can't trade pre-market, after-market. And there's very little, if any, validated information with a lot of your OTC stocks. So you've got to be careful. So how did that just move? Well, marketers can still buy and sell after-market. Brokers can buy and sell after-market, and they do. They do participate in these OTC penny stocks. So we are still seeing some action right now. We are up about 14.5%. We've got a validated profile, and we have a verified transfer agent, which is the only validated information you normally get with OTC. They say she's a shell risk, that she's not making any money, but she's in business. Is that true? Well, we got nothing coming in on the quarterlies or the annuals, nothing coming in on the quarterly. Now, why they say they're in business could be because they're making a deal. They changed the rules here recently. If a company makes a deal with another company and acquire assets, acquire cash, this can be considered revenues, and they count that as business being done. And they say, you're in business. Now you're not reporting revenues, you're a shell risk, which doesn't look good, but it doesn't look true either. So I wouldn't count on that. Balance sheet for the company. Oh my God. Now, we do have to add 3 zeros to any of the numbers on these charts. So in the bank, we've got more than $1. We've got $1,000. I think that's what you need to keep your business account open. Total assets, we're at $1,100. Woohoo! We're kicking it now. Total liabilities, oh my God, $2 million. Folks, we got, all right, that's 11,000, my bad. 11,000 in assets, but 2.1 million in deficit. And we're holding all that. We get 2.1 million in stockholder deficit. So we are holding a bag with this company. She is on the riskiest tier. We don't have any filings to back up this information. We don't have any news to back up this information. I'm not telling you it's not true. I'm telling you, take it with a grain of salt. Do more due diligence. Do some digging. The more money you put in, the more you need to know. So the best thing you can do with this company, check their management out. Look at the management, get as much information about their history. Learn if they've had success or failures in the past. That's the best you can absolutely do. Outside of that, we'd be playing technicals, right? We'd be looking at the chart, looking for some heat in the chart, getting in when volume comes in, forgetting about all that's going on over here. We're then just concentrating on the chart. And that's what I do every day at Penny Boys. Between 9:30 and 4 o'clock, I'm trading with the public on momentum plays. We're just looking for stocks moving. We're not waiting for them to set up. Some people are, but our page is primarily looking for heat. We're like standing on the expressway, hitchhiking. These cars aren't parked. They're flying by 70, 80 miles an hour. We're looking for a ride in a vehicle that's flying, and we're not going to go very far. We're going to get out just down the road. I don't care where it started. I don't care where it's going. When I get out of the car, I don't worry where he's going. It doesn't bother me. So when I get my gains, I'm out of a trade. That's it. I don't look at it and go, oh man, it's still going. I should have got out. I got out too early. You got out and took gains. Congratulations. You did well. So let's go take a look now at ticker MWWC over at my free trading platform. By the way, this is BEAT, B-E-A-T. I covered this yesterday, folks. This was the video I put out as fast as I could get it out. I started making it at 10 to 4. I think I got it out at 10 after 5. I had to do a lot of work with it after I recorded it, but it gave you a chance to see what was going on with this company. So I seen it running. She came down and she was bouncing here, and she did dip. I thought she might take off in the aftermarket period, but at least you were watching it because she took off at the bell. She jumped here from $1.38 going up to $2.82 when we were looking at it when she hit a high of $1.80, and she had come down to about $1.50. So this was a nice play today if you happen to catch it. If you did, you're welcome. All right, let's take a look at MWWC. That is the 1 hour chart. Let's go on back to our 1 day, 1 year. So she's drooping downhill underneath the 200 for the entire year. We had our 52-week low here of 0. I don't know how you do that. 0 should not be on the board, but you can see she hit the floor. Bam, hit it hard. And she's just scraping her butt across the floor. Look, I draw a line there. That's where she's sitting. On that 0. Bam, 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 bam. Until here. Here she jumped from 0 to 0001, which is the lowest you really should be on the open market. And she flew to 0005. Now, yeah, that's a 500% run. No doubt that. But chances are nobody owned this stock at 0001 except marketers and brokers. We normally have to get it at 0002. That's normally the cheapest we can get it, which isn't bad. You know, you can get 500,000 shares for $100. So if you had gotten in at 0002, you'd have had yourself, what, 250% gains there, which isn't bad at all. Now, she's come back down and we're at the 4, but she's above the 9-day. Huge bars. All of our other MAs are crossing a flat 200 MA. This looks like it's ready to continue. Now, I normally wouldn't say that with a triple stock. She's at 0004. I don't even look at 0004s. I don't. Somebody else wanted to look at this. Thank them. Thank you, Espresso. So she is running hot right now with all of our oscillators pushing up, looking strong. Coming down to our, let's take a look at our 1 hour. So there's that 0 low. You can see it. She's up on top. She made a nice push here from, wow. She did this a couple days ago. She ran from that 0 up to that 0005, went sideways, took a dip here, and now we're at that 0004, trying to get on top of the 20, hanging on to the 9. She doesn't look very strong. I don't see a lot of heat. What I see is she doesn't want to fall. She's hanging on to what she's got. Now, as I said, I normally don't like to look at stocks at 0004 because they can be here for a long time. Honestly, a year, couple years, they can be there for a long time. But we do have a very strong catalyst, though we can't validate it. We're going to have to do some more due diligence. She's worth putting on your watch list. She's got a ton of shares, so we're not looking at no bloody low float. We need a lot of volume to get this moving. And it doesn't have to really be a lot of volume. It just has to be a lot of excitement. People that believe in the stock and start pushing this price up. When you see the volume come in and the stock start running, take your gains as she's climbing. Don't wait for it to turn around and start falling. You'll lose it faster than it was climbing, right? So there you go. MWWC could be a hot play. Don't forget to put it on your watch list. This is one of those stocks that you'd forget about. All right, let me come on back here just to see what's going on with you folks. I could use a drink too. I'm talking too loud. I can feel it already. John just released this message from CEO. Hey, Espresso. Good to see you, my friend. John, I guess a message just came through. What did I miss? You missed it all, buddy. We just covered that stock. Now, folks, I am doing quick dives. We're just scanning across this. There's a lot of information in every one of these companies that I'm not going to be able to touch. So please, for God's sake, it's your money. Do your own due diligence behind me. I'm just poking my head in, showing you things maybe you didn't find, maybe you didn't know, bringing stocks to your attention. Actually, you guys are bringing these stocks to our attention. All right, I'm ready to fly. Let's take a look at another stock here that was brought in by, I do believe this one came from Velmore. Oh, click that button. Wait. There we go. So many buttons. All right. Yes, Velmore brought us CETX, which has been very hot. As a matter of fact, I think it was on the 8th that this stock took a real strong run. And the funny thing is that there was no catalyst. There was no news. There was no filings, not the day before, not that day. We had stuff come out after, but that doesn't count, right? Unless somebody knew something. But it would have had to have been a lot of people. So CETX is Semtrex Inc. The company is involved. They were involved in 2 sectors. They now have expanded into 3 sectors. They are involved with camera security. Matter of fact, I think I can just bring this up over on their website. They're involved with camera security. That is cameras in the sky, right? You got them anywhere. You got them on the ceiling in your stores. You got them in the corners of our homes. You got them on your doorbell, your yards, anywhere you want cameras, they're putting up cameras. So they got that business. Then they have AIS. AIS is an industrial contractor working with all sorts of things: rigging and mill writing, processing piping, electrical services, custom fabrication, transportation and warehousing, project management. All of this is another sector that they're working in. And we don't have time to go into all the details of what they're doing. But they are also moving into a new sector. I guess we'll just go to the news for it. Right down here, actually 2 sectors they're working on right now. One they've accomplished. Semtrex signs letters of intent for 2 strategic acquisitions in robotics and aerospace. The new acquisitions are expected to drive total annual revenues to $100 million and expand operating profit. Semtrex, a diversified industrial and technology company, today announced it has signed a non-binding letter of intent to acquire 2 profitable U.S.-based businesses, one in industrial robotics integration and the other in aerospace and defense systems engineering. Combined, the 2 companies are expected to contribute 15 to 18 million in annual revenue. The robotics integrator specializes in automation systems for agriculture and construction, expanding Semtrex's footprint in industrial automation and complementing its AIS division. The aerospace and defense firm delivers high reliability communications and electronic systems for government and commercial customers, adding a new strategic vertical with a long-term relevance in national security and space infrastructure. Combined with Cemtrex organic growth initiatives, these acquisitions are expected to position the company to reach $100 million in total revenue and significantly expand the company's operating profit. Both transactions are in the diligence phase and are subject to definitive agreements and customary closing conditions. Closings are expected to occur in the fourth calendar quarter of 2025. Right now, anytime. It's the last month, ain't it? Cemtrex will provide additional updates as they occur. Well, they just occurred. They've already closed one deal. Cemtrex enters into agreement to acquire Invocon. This is the space and defense sector. They are working with them. There's more details in there. They did not tell us anything here about the robot company yet. We're still waiting for that. Now, what we've got to do here is start adding up shares before we dive into the rest of this information. I found 3 different places where they've added shares because they've got a decent share count. If we look at their share count right now, we're at 1.1 million. That's total. The insiders are going to own something. I don't know what they own. Subtract that, that's going to give us our float. Well, the float can't be any less than between 500,000 and 1.5 million. So they're in that zone right now. Danger zone, Will Robinson. The best way to fix it is just throw some more shares on the market. Well, they're doing that, but not through public offerings. They're doing it in other ways, but we are getting more shares. So let's take a look at that. First off, we've got $2 million worth of shares right here. $2 million isn't a lot. That's only 666,000 shares. They sold these at $3 a share. Right now, we're at $3.48. And let's see why they did this. The company expects to use the net proceeds from the offering for general corporate purposes. All right, so they just needed that money for everyday average expenses. But when we dive over here to our SEC filings, right here, this 8K that came out on the 11th, they tell us, I lost my highlights, but I know what I'm looking at. Right here, December 8th, the company issued 2.5 million shares to pay off a $6 million debt. 2 million times $3, there's your 6 million. So they got 2.5 million more shares, but paid off a debt, completely got rid of it. Then they had some Series B warrants that got exercised. Every time a warrant is exercised, which is just a coupon being cashed in for a free share, boom, there's a free share given birth to. So they just gave birth to 2.2 million more shares from warrants. So we've got about 500,000 from the offering. We've got 2.5 million here. That's 3 million. 2.2 million here. That's 5.2 million. Add that 5.2 million to our 1.1. You've got, let's just call it 7 million. So we're up to 7 million out of hot water, whatever the problem was. Maybe we didn't have a problem. We're all good there now. We still got a low float. Anything under 10 million shares is a low float. The insiders probably own something. We got to subtract that from that 7 million. We've got a decent float. So I'm not freaking out here. Market cap is going to be completely different now. We got to take all those shares, 7 million roughly, multiply it times the price, 3.5. It's going to give us like 21, 24, about 24 million for our market cap. It's going to kick it way the heck up. It's not going to be 4 million anymore. What was the relative volume around CETX today? About double. Not quite, but close. We went from almost 5 million shares a day over the last 30 days to a little over 9 million today. Already looked at the share structure, financials. We got nothing over here on the annual, nothing on the quarterly, nothing on the balance sheet. Don't that suck me blue? So we're going to dive on over here to, I do have Yahoo opened up. Yes, I do. CETX, Yahoo Finance. Can't get all the numbers I like to get over here, but at least we can get some. We can see if they're making any money, see if they're making any profit, if it cooperates. Financials for CETX, please. Thank you. So we're looking up here at the... Please, I said please. Arg. I don't like Yahoo. I really don't. They have too much stuff on their page. All right. So we've got 4 years of revenues here. 2021 till current. Back in 2021, we were at 43 million, jumping to 45. 59. In 2024, we were at 66. The last 12 months, that's what TTM stands for, trailing 12 months, we just hit 76 million. So every single year for the last 5 years, the revenues have been growing and growing strong. Looking good. Cost of revenue is right here. Of course, they got to pay something, but they're in the black. 16 million in profit, 25 million, 27, 32 million in profit. So they're doing good. Now, I have a hard time finding the assets and the liabilities here, so I'm not going to jump into that. Couldn't find that, but we do see they're making money. That's all good to see. And we've already gone through this 8K here, but I want to look at this 424B5. This is going to be shares, right? $2 million. This is that piece of news we just read. You normally will have a filing. With any shares being put out, you normally have a filing. You don't always get a piece of news, but you do get a filing. So that takes care of everything there. So what have we got for our catalyst? What's got this thing running? Well, I don't know. That's the question here. You're going to look at this chart and you're going to see she's running on the 8th. Well, look at our dates. This is August 25th to November 20th, 11/20, 12/11. Right there, folks. There's a big gap. It is on the 8th right here that you're going to see the big run. Let's go take a look at that. So I can't tell you why she's running and why she's still running, why she's got all this heat built up. Maybe one of you know. If you do, drop it in the comments. Share it with all of us. So here's that run. She was at, get off of there. I know that we'll go back a year here in a minute. This is on the 5th. We were at about $3.20, and she went all the way up to $20.56. For what? For what? Now, this is the 5th, so we went through the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Well, she actually was moving a little bit after market, a little bit on Sunday, and then Monday morning, she erupted hard. She was at, I'm going to call it 4.25, and she went up to $20.50. You know, you're looking at roughly 450% run. Why? We didn't see any filings. We seen that they had an offering. We seen that they had more shares put on the market, but I didn't see any catalyst. And now she's come back down. She's fallen right back down to our 200. She's laying flat, doesn't show any heat. We don't see any volume coming into the picture now. All of our oscillators are flat. And what's worse, all of our MAs are over top of the price. Everything is coming down right now. The price is underneath the 200, underneath the 9. It's not looking real good. Now let's go on back to our 1 year. Oh, geez. All right, too flat. I'm going to try to open this up just a little bit, see if I can zoom in just right there. My God. Try it again. That's what we got going on there. Whew. Talk about flat. So a year ago, we were actually at $55. Now, if they had a reverse stock split, we're going to have to divide by something. I don't know if they had a reverse stock split. Over the last year, she has been falling from $55, hitting a low of $2.50, and now she's coming back up. We're at about $4.50 right now. And that MA is way the heck up there on our yearly chart, on our 4-hour chart, because I'd be looking for a breakout setup. Wow. Look at that 200, folks. It is virtually going flat, and our price is way down here. Now, that's the only thing I can see. There's our catalyst. As far as I'm concerned, right there. Our 200 MA just went flat. Here it's falling. It's getting flat. It's going level. It's getting there. We got one little push towards it getting flat, and then boom. As soon as it's flat, it took off. No news, no filing, strictly technicals. That's my call. She jumped because the chart was in the right place. Once she took off, she came back down because she had no reason to run. She took off because of technicals, and she's come back down. So now we're waiting for news or another setup. And the way things are looking, setup could be a while. She could be down here for a while, folks. Everything is looking very cool on our 4-hour chart. We looked at the 1-hour chart. It's looking cool there too. All of our MAs over our head falling. Looking at our 5-day, 15-minute. Oh, not looking good, is it? So our 200 got close again. I do like to see this breaking through it, coming back down immediately. You're not going to stay up there on a falling 200. But look, she came down deeper, worse than she started, and she's still falling right now. If you got into CETX the other day, chances are you're going to be holding this stock for a while. This could be one of those stocks that just hiccuped because of a technical, literally a technical on the chart. I don't see any reason for her to be running. She's got a low float. If she gets a reason to run, she could run very, very well. But right now, as it looks, the chart's weak. There's nothing to pick her up. She has no catalyst. I'd stay away from it, personally. All right. I hate to be the guy to deliver bad news, but you got to do your job, don't you? All right. Let's go on to the next one, folks. This one comes from Mark Ryan, good friend of mine. Ryan brought us CTGL. This is Citron Global Corporation. They've had a change of operations along with a change of name. They were in health and wellness. They've gone into battle drones. The nice thing about this company is, even though they are on the OTC, they do use 10Ks. Let's see here. No, we don't need the dollar sign. Thank you very much. All right, so we are on the OTC QB CTL Citron Global. Let's take a look at where she's from. Israel. That's right. This is a company that is partnered. You have your home office here in America. You have your subsidiaries over in Israel. We have a lot of benefits being an American company. We also get a lot of benefits from the technology of Israel. And you know, Israel's been using a lot of drones, right? When this war started a couple years ago, drones became the big deal. Swarms of drones. Well, they are now manufacturing drones over there using 3D printers. What they basically got, folks, are manufacturers that can move. They can move this manufacturing outfit anywhere they want and make drones there. So this is a whole new way of doing business. They tell us that SKYX Orion, which used to be Citron Global, is a U.S.-based company with operations in the U.S. and Israel, operating through majority-owned subsidiaries. The flagship SKYX Replicator Air Plug and Fly is a modular FPV drone, which is a complete mission kit. Now, I think the best way to do this is to actually take you on over to their website. Now, I'm going to give you a little time to look at this. It's from Israel. It takes time to come up. Now, I'm going to let you look at this video because it gives a lot more information than I can possibly tell you. But what you basically got here is one drone. Not a whole bunch of different types of drones. You get one drone, comes in a case, and it comes with all these different attachable pieces, like transformer, right? So maybe you have a certain type of camera, a night camera, a day camera. You want to carry a package. You want to drop a bomb. I mean, seriously, they have all these different quick attaching items that go right on this drone. As you can see right there, just attach a bomb to it, attach a camera to it, attach a different camera to it, thermal recon. So this is what they are now getting into. And as I said, these are 3D printed so that they can build them anywhere they decide to build them. They tell us here that the SKYX Replicator is our breakthrough modular robotic platform supported by patent filings, designed for multi-domain unmanned operations, whether at sea, air, or ground. These are built around a central core unit. The modular architecture is engineered for soldiers in the field and allows mission-specific modules to be swapped within seconds through an intuitive click-in interface. The result is a multi-mission flexibility, zero downtime, and fully adaptable charging battlefield drone that works in all conditions. And this is what the company is now doing. And as I said, they have a production unit, a manufacturing outfit that they can actually move around because it is nothing more than 3D printers. And all you do is fill them up with the ink, the sap, the metal, whatever it is, whatever plastic you're using, you just pour it in and voila, you can make anything you want wherever you are, as many as you want. And they want to make millions of these things, folks. So taking a look at the news, see what we've got going on over here. Pow, pow, pow. All right, I'm going to pick this up October of this year. Citrin Global, now doing business as SKYX, today issued a shareholder update letter from the company's chairwoman, and the chief executive officer. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this, but you should. There's a lot of information in here, but I haven't got all that much time. The company has just emerged from a challenging period, and they're primarily talking about the war here, but I'm kind of jumping down. They have transitioned from a company in the field of health and wellness to a drone solutions company, which is now a market of about $42 billion right now, and they expect that to jump to $186 billion by the year 2034, and it could be a lot bigger than that. We're going to find more and more purposes for drones. Replication manufacturing method. For the production of millions of small drones, the company has developed a truly unique manufacturing method, the replication manufacturing method. The method is based on advanced manufacturing technologies and 3D printing. The collaboration allows us to establish a scalable manufacturing infrastructure that is expandable, replicable, and operational in any country at any stage in any accordance with security and regulatory requirements. At the heart of the company's manufacturing and innovation activities is its Israeli subsidiary SKYX Orient, which was recognized in 2025 by the government of Israel through the Ministry of Economy and Industry, and received a multi-million-dollar grant from the establishment of the SKYX Center of Israel as a national flagship center for innovation and production of unmanned systems, drone and defense solutions, located on land owned by the company's Israeli subsidiary, covering 11,600 square meters in the city of Yaruham, positioned as Israel's drone city. So what you have here is Israel backing this company up. You did hear that, right? Israel gave this company multi-millions of dollars to build these drones. They have put their manufacturing in Israel, in this Israel drone city. That's what they're actually calling it now. So this is hot news, folks. This is a big deal. I don't know where it can go because I haven't done a super deep dive on this, but there's lots of information here that you're going to want to dive into once we're done. Citrin Global, again, doing business as SKYX, participates in the AUVSI Defense 2025 Council, where they're talking about all of these things. They're also over here talking about it at the UVID 2025 with a keynote speaker being from this company. So they're out there showing everybody what we've got. We're not talking about investors investing in the company. We're talking about people buying their products. They're getting these drones out there. All it takes is a 3D printer, and you can put one of these in anybody's building, really, and you could start building drones. So what was the relative volume around CTGL? What? Wow. Did you see? What's up? Was this off the market? So this is on the OTC, right? We got 67,000 shares a day over the last 30 days. Ow. Today we did even less than that. 46,000 shares. That's surprising. It's a little scary. Share structure for CTGL is ridiculous, 1.2 billion shares. But here's the good news. The insiders own 2/3 of that. They've got 842 million shares. We get less than half of that. We've got almost 400 million shares. Now, I'm not saying that's a great share count, but it's nice to see that the insiders own more than we do. And yes, they are primed for a reverse stock split. I don't know why they haven't done one yet. This is a bit scary, to be honest. But they will go through the reverse stock split just like we do. So we get hit, they get hit. So I'm sure they're going to be very prudent about whenever they use a reverse stock split. And because they aren't on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, they don't have a minimum price. So we don't have to worry about that. However, they could easily do a reverse stock split just to put this stock in front of people who have money. There are lots of people who have lots of money that will never, ever look at a stock on the OTC. They just won't do it. The pink sheets, Nope. That's what they call all the OTC, the pink sheets. They just won't look at them. Until you get out of here, you're not going to be seen by people who have money. So you do a reverse stock split, get your price $3, $4, $5, $10. Now all of a sudden you got an entirely different audience looking at your product. And this could be something people with money would be interested in looking at. Disclosures for the company. We got anything to consider? Well, this is an OTC QB, so we've got financials. We do right there. These are 10 Qs and 10 Ks. You're going to want to dive into these to get your information. Forget about going to Google or reading news presses. 10 Ks, 10 Qs have every bit of information about the company since they were incorporated. All the deals they've made, all the shares they've bought, how many shares they own, how much they get paid, who's invested in the company, how many shares they have. Uh-oh, can you guys still see me? My other computer just went down and it says we're not connected. I'm checking right now. Give me a moment. This is a wee bit slow. All right. Let's see here. Kicked out. Yeah, I look like I'm still with you. Very good. Very good. All right. And that was back in November. So we don't have any current filings. We don't have any current information here outside of the news. And the most recent piece of news is just them going to these conferences, talking about their products. We don't have any real catalyst happening at this very moment. Let me see this piece of news. Company announces a binding agreement to acquire 51% of iBot Israel's Botanicals, a revenue-generating nutritional supplement company and fast-growing potential. Look at that. 2023. I knew something was wrong here. You don't go into battle drones and then start selling vitamins too. That just didn't sound right to me. So always look at the dates, folks. I waste a lot of time reading old news and it's like, what? Really? Ay. All right, we've covered all of this. We have. And we looked at their financials. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. And we've got no financials here. So let's dive back on over to, Yahoo. What time is it? We're at 4:45. Citrin Global, ticker CETGL. CTGL. Come on, Yahoo. People waiting. Nothing. We got no money coming in annually. We got no money coming in quarterly. So they're not making any money. I wasn't aware of that. Not a penny coming into this company right now. Nope, nothing at all. So you've got a company here that is not making any money, but they've got a hot product, right? CTGL. Yeah, CTGL. They've got a hot product, especially in Israel. Israel has been using a lot of drones. I can't even imagine how many drones they go through over there. And obviously the American government's going to be wanting to use drones. A lot of other governments. We're not just talking, a couple drones for security for this company, a couple drones for Amazon so they can deliver products. They may need a few more than a couple. But war, they use a lot of drones at one time. Swarms of them, like bees, like locusts. So this is big business, just dealing with the governments. So I'm thinking this could be very hot. But right now, we don't see anything happening. We just see a lot of potential building up. So CTGL, that is the 15-minute chart, looks pretty flat. Let's go back a year. All right. Wow. So that blue line, normally these blue lines are indicators of when I looked at this stock. I used to do it all the time. I don't do it much anymore. I don't know why. So it looks like I looked at this stock September 5th of 2025 when it was down there at a super low price of, gee whiz. Yeah, I got an arrow there, 0015. So we did look at this a long time ago. And when we looked at it, there was our run. Strong run of 12,000% gains. Looked like it kept going too. Wow. So we went from basically 1/100th, 1/10 of a penny, 1/10 of a penny to 39 cents. Wow, folks, that is 2,000. That's like 39,000% gains. So a $100 bill here would have made you $39,000 up there. What a serious run. When she came down off of this high bubble, She fell down to about 18 cents, and that's pretty much where she's been hanging out. She is bouncing. She's doing some jumping here, but not going far. 3, 4, 5 cents down, 3, 4, 5 cents up. That's it. And we are just going sideways. Now, all of our MAs have crossed the price. The price tried to follow it here and then just quit, fell underneath, and it's now down underneath all of our strong MAs. Looks like it's even down underneath our 9-day MA. No strength in our oscillators. There's just nothing there to talk about on our yearly chart. Our 4-hour chart looks just as bad, just as weak. Nothing happening here. Coming down to our 20-day 1-hour view, going sideways with bounces. Like I said, a few pennies up, a few pennies down, but not going anywhere. So now we've got a 200 squeeze setting up. It's just starting. That's because the 200 haul just came into the picture. Here's our 200 MA. It's actually rising. That's a good thing. It's actually rising. And our 200 haul is actually falling. They're going away from each other. That's ridiculous. That's not normally what you see on the chart. So I'm expecting our 200 haul here to turn around. I expect that to start chasing the 200 MA. Both 200s have the same strength, have the same power, have the same authority. But the 200 MA is a bully. It bullies everybody around, doesn't care about anybody. The 200 haul gives heed and respects the price. That's why you see the 200 haul closer to the price, because it takes into consideration current prices when you figure it out. So it's actually relating to the price. It relates to it. It takes it in consideration. So it's a pal. That's the way I see it. And when you have a rising 200 haul at the bottom and the price above it, you will normally see the price run up. And when it is on top of the 50, like it is right now, she's getting on top of the 50. When that 200 turns up, I expect this to push through that 200 MA. Now, it's very, very close there. But if you have a rising 200 and a breakout over that rising 200, there's a strong probability it'll continue to go. So we are in a starting position for a 200 squeeze. It's looking like it has probability, a possibility of running. I'm not saying it's going to. Coming down to our 5-day, 15 minutes, sideways. Not looking like much, except we've got 5 green bars, pretty chunky, working over all the MAs, now on top of everything. Our oscillators, they're warming up. They're climbing. Not a lot there, but they are warming up. That's all we really need. And we'll take one quick glance at our 1 minute. Zoom. Sideways, folks. So what we need here is volume. First off, we've had no real volume to talk about in this stock for a while. Look, there's your 6-month. Biggest volume was a red day. So we need volume to come in. And what's going to bring in the volume? A catalyst. So we need a good filing. We need a good piece of news. We need the chart to set up. I can't remember why she ran back there, but that was a huge mother of a run. That would be nice to see again. So find out what made her run back here. Maybe we could get another one of those over here and get this thing to take off again. But right now, not going on my watch list. I don't see a whole lot. I know she has potential, but I don't need a watch list with 200 stocks I'm watching. That's a little too much for me. So we are going to leave CTGL. Toodaloo, my friend. We're going to come back here and see what y'all are doing. Kashira, where you been? Been looking for you, my friend. Waiting. AXXA. I see ya. Oh, you've also got SPQS there. We getting greedy? We got a couple more up top. So what time is it right now? We're at 5:54. So you probably heard that we got our 3rd rate cut yesterday. That is bringing our interest rates down, which should have the markets going up. Something you may want to consider, the end of the year, a lot of these companies work on fair market value for their stocks. That is to say, they want their stock to be worth a lot at the end of the day, the very last day of the year. So we look for the end of the year for stocks to run on that last day, just so they can get their tax records the way they want them. So we can be watching for something like that at the end of the year. Santa rally, we could get it. What's a Santa rally? Well, that's when everybody feels good. When the market feels good, the people in the country feel good, so the market responds and starts to run. Well, we've got Christmas, inflation is falling, job market looks pretty decent right now. We're getting the immigrants out of the country. I'm sorry, but that's purification. I like that too. And we have got a rate cut. So we've got more money to spend. We could get a Santa rally, folks. This could be a good year. All right, I'm going to jump back into this. I know I got more stocks to cover. Let's see what we get. Next stock comes from who gave me pets? Who gave me pets? Somebody gave me pets. I'll find out here in a minute. Let's see here. Pets, where'd you go? There's SKYX, Radic. Who got me pets? All right, I can't find pets. There it is, Dino. Should have known it was Dino. Dino, you got yourself a hot stock here, buddy. This is the kind of stocks I like to see come into the board. This is Pets. Pets is on the NASDAQ. This is PetMed Express. Also goes by a couple other names we'll get here in just a few minutes. They work with pet medications. But when you start selling pet medications, it just opens up the door to sell all sorts of things for pets. Food, chewies, they sell pet stuff. The company has received an offer to go private. Now, when I first started doing DD on this, I was going to tell you, this is good news because it is not closed yet. When you see a company get news, and I'll show you the news right now, the company got news that they want to be bought out. Not that they want to be bought out, but somebody wants to buy them out. PetMed Express, also known as PetMeds, also known as PetCare RX, ticker PETS, today confirmed that it has received an unsolicited and non-binding acquisition proposal from Silver Cape Investments, a Singapore-based investment firm, to acquire all of the company for $4 per share. Now, this isn't a done deal, hasn't happened yet. But I'll tell you right now, when it does happen, and I see this all the time, every time, when a company is bought out and going private, which is what this company is doing, they're going private. What I normally do is I take the name of the company, I will copy that, throw that up here, drop it in, and if it doesn't come up, it's a private company. So I know this is a private company. They're going to buy this one up, make it private, so it's leaving the market. When the news comes out that it's a done deal and it's happened, you will see the stock jump to the price that they're buying it for instantly. Folks, when the news comes out, there's like 5 seconds. I think the news has a 15-second delay. I think some people get the news just a few seconds before most of us, because in 5 seconds, wherever the price is at, it will be up to that price. It'll be there already. So I was going to tell you, this may be a good stock to buy, because if this deal goes through, whatever the price is, as soon as that piece of news comes out, boom, it's going to go to $4 and it'll lock there. Bang! And it won't move. It'll stay there until they go off the market and go private. But I seen it jump to $4 today. Just as I was looking at it and we were talking about it over at Penny Boys, boom, it hit $4. Now, it did come back down. I haven't looked at it since. I'm not quite sure where it's at right now. But that was the play I was looking at. While PetMeds would typically not comment on this because the other company already brought it out, this company decided they better make a comment about it too. Any other news here to consider? Well, not really. PetMeds extends existing shareholder rights plan. Shareholder rights, this was just at the end of November. You may want to look at that, though it may not be of any use now. Rights are like warrants. Rights and warrants are coupons that allow you to buy shares at discounted prices, guaranteed price. It's already set in concrete. Warrants are good for down the road, 3 to 5 years down the road. Rights are good now, 2, 3, 4 months down the road, right now. And if you buy the rights and hold them, now you can buy rights like stock and sell them like stock and make profit. You can sell warrants and buy warrants like stock. You can make money off those, or you can hang on to them and use the other options you get. And rights, you can buy shares at a cheaper price here in the next few months. That's what this piece of news is all about. But I don't know the details. They're going to have to dive into that if you want to know. So that's what's got this thing jumping right now. Let's see what the relative volume was. Oh my God. Gee whiz. So Pets was doing about 200,000 shares a day over the last month. Now she's doing 130 million shares. Folks, let's just do some simple math. It takes 5 of these to make a million, roughly, right? We got 130 million. So multiply that times 5. That's going to give you 650 times the my God, the volume is kicked up 650 times. That is, oh my God, 650,000% increase in volume, folks. You need to be watching this stock just based on that number alone. Share structure, low float. Now, it's not literally a low float. Low float comes in at about 10 million shares. We're up here at 20 million. I don't know what the insiders own. They could own 10 million, but whatever they own, that's not a lot of shares. Whether they own 0 or a lot, 21 million, if that is the float, is an excellent float. Anything under 100 million, that would be brilliant if that's what it was. Market cap right now, we are at about 37 million. Pet Meds, are they making any money? Yeah, they're making money, and it's steady. Look at these revenues. Over the last 4 years, we're just around $250 million. Well, you got to add 3 zeros. Now it's $250 million. You see it? 272 million, 247 million. And they're bringing in steady profits between 69 and 84 million. But that 69, the lowest profit margin, just came in here. But that's because they just made the least amount of money that they've made in the last 4 years. Not that it's a big drop, but it is the least. Quarterlies, again, they're doing regular revenues, regular profits, but things have been falling. Right now, we are on the low end. We did 46 million when we were doing up to almost 70 million. And our profits, they're somewhere in the middle between 14 and 24 million at 18. Balance sheet for the company, we got about 54 million in the bank, 148 million in assets, 63 million in liabilities, which gives us 85 million in stockholder equity. We're not holding a bag here. And disclosures, we got anything to consider here? Well, we've got an SC13D, SC13D, and SC13G. These are filed whenever a new insider comes into the company. They buy enough shares that they own a percentage of the company. You got to tell us that. And a lot of them go up to 4.99 because when you go over 5%, the game changes. A lot of them go up to 9.99. You own 10%, the game changes. Well, notice who we're looking at here. This is Silver Cape Investments. This is the company that just put in a buy for all the shares at $4 a share. Well, they already own 2.57 million of these shares. They already own 12.2% of the company. Now they want the rest. But they're already an insider. So they're already in the deal. You know what I'm saying? This isn't coming out of the clear blue. These are people they know, been invested in this company for a while. So there's the interesting piece of information I found. Def 14A. This is a meeting. I always like to check in on the meetings to see if they're going to vote on a acquisition, a merger, a stock split. Now, that could be a forward split. Oh, we love those. Or it could be a reverse split. We're not too crazy about those. We don't have any of that here. Not a single one of those here. These are about the executives, their compensation, stuff like that. They're going to be voting on that. And then we've got an 8K here, which is a material change. You always want to dive into these just to make sure what's going on. This is a change of their accountant. If you're interested, they've got information here about it. I'm not too interested. But that's the most current filings. After that, we go into November. So, looking at pets, let's go see what the chart looks like. Didn't have it turned the right way. All right, that's our 4-hour chart. Let's kick it up to a 1 day, 1 year. So a year ago, we got a high of $6.70. I don't see any reverse stock splits. Over the last year, she has fallen from way over the 200, under the 200, and just kept falling, putting distance between her and that 200 here recently, getting further and further away from it. She was close and just going further away. We hit a low here, a 52-week low of $1.57. We did that on the 8th of December. And off of that, we started to push sideways, and then we just ripped, going from that low of $1.63 up to $4.10, and then pulling back. As you can see, that is the only day of volume. There's no volume here to talk about for the whole year. All of our oscillators are starting to climb and push up with that big move. Coming down to our 6-month, 4-hour view, really can't see anything special here. We can see that she fell. She was banging her head up against this 200. She's in a 200 squeeze here. Our 200 haul just turned up. She's over top of the 50. It should have broke through. This is a bad sign when the stock only goes to the 200 and not through it in a 200 squeeze. Now, I will grant you, it's not exactly flat, but bloody hell, folks. It's as close as you can really get, but she did not break through. She came back down to our 200 haul. We went through another 200 squeeze, up on top of the 50, rising 200 haul, falling 200 MA, price in the middle above the 50, to and through the 50. Back down because it's a falling 200 now. And this time it's a drop. We went from 275 initially down to $1.80, all the way down here to $1.55. Sideways until we hit our low of $1.55, and off of that we've been ripping. Now right now we are over top of everything. Everything is turned up, everything is climbing, all of our MAs, all of our oscillators, everything looks good and juicy right now at this very moment, but that can change in a heartbeat. Let's take a look at our 20-day 1-hour view. All right, so we had that run. Yesterday, she started off at about $1.60. Today, she hit a high of $4.05. You're looking at close to 300% run there. Back down on top of our 9-day. All right, now there's our giveaway. She was pulling away from the 9-day, hit a high, came back down after she got too far away from that 9-day, but she didn't break the 9. Forget the wick. The wick isn't a break. The solid bars are breaks. All of our solid bars are over that 9-day. We're in good shape here. She still has strength. All of our MAs are rising, crossing the 200 MA right now. That becomes golden crosses. Every single one of those are a turbo. They're going to help the price to rise. And we got the 50 going over the 200 right now. Everything on our oscillators, strong. I'm not saying super strong, but there darn sure isn't any weakness in the picture. Let's take a look at our 5-day, 15-minute. So we took that run and she kept it, right? Normally after a big run here, you expect to see at least a 50% drop. So I would have expected this to come down to here. Somewhere in this region, the 50% mark right there, I would have expected her to come up, come back down, which she did here on this first run, right? She came all the way back down underneath the 50, landed on that 9, and just kept climbing. And when she hit her high, she came back down to our 78% mark. She is well above the 50. Now, normally, if you can stay above the halfway point, the top half is green. You stay there, normally the stock wants to continue to climb. If you fall below that 50% mark, you're in the red zone. She normally wants to fall down to the next strongest MA before she starts to climb. We've had a very strong run here without any pullbacks, and she's hanging on up here very, very strong. Oscillators are hanging on. They're a little cool right now, but there's a lot of strength still in the picture. I'm liking pets. I am thinking, again, because of where the price is right now, now this is all assumption. If pets takes the deal, if they say yes, this bad boy is going to jump back up to that $4, and it's going to stick there this time. It won't come back down. So if you got in right now at $3, that would be $1 gain for every share that you bought. But we don't know that the company's going to accept the deal. They may even say it's too low. They may ask for $5. They may start negotiating. It could get better. So I'm saying it is worth looking at. It's worth considering. It's worth your due diligence. I like the setup. I'm not sure if I'm going to get into it, but I do see the potential here. Definitely do see it. Pets. It could make us $1, which would be a 25% gain from this point right now. Whew. All righty. I need a wee bit of a break here. You guys getting tired yet? Let's see. 505. Yeah, Espresso. I did see you, my man. I did. You know, we covered your stock. It was the very first one we covered. You can't rewind right now. You're going to have to wait until I'm done. But then you can go back and get it. Dino Trades. It was me, Pats. That's right, Dino. I found you, my friend. I found you. Kashera. Okay, what time is it? 5:10. Have I got everything done that I had set up? No. All right. Lee, I'm going to do this quick. We're going to look at SKYX. I'm not too excited about this because we look at SKYX too often. Every week it is asked SKYX. All right, SKYX. We do look at this every week, so you probably are familiar with this company. I can't use that. Doggone it. I'm going to have to go to their news. That link there for the company, it goes to a dead link. It does not work. So this is the news, folks, since we're here. The newest piece of news. This company has a way of connecting ceiling fans, lights into the ceiling. It's just well, like you saw with the drone. It's just a click connect. Quick click connect. You just snap it in and snap it out. You don't have to turn off the electricity to even change anything, right? There's no wires, there's no nuts, there's nothing like that. You just pop it in and pop it out. Well, they've got lights you can do this too, ceiling fans, and they've got a special product that does all sorts of things. It has a speaker in it, so you can listen to music. You can use it as an intercom between other rooms. You can use it to make emergency phone calls if you need it. You could probably use it to make regular phone calls. It has lights on it, dimmer lights. It attaches to any device you want it attached to in the home, whether that be your air conditioner, your curtains, your hot water heater, your air conditioner, whatever. Did I say air conditioner already? And it sniffs the air for carbon monoxide and other poisons. So it does a whole heck of a lot. Well, they just came up with a new product, and I looked at this thing. It's about this big. It's a big one. It's about the size of a ceiling fan. It is a patented ceiling plug-and-play Sky Fan turbo heater on its U.S. e-commerce platform. Driven by strong demand, the company expects additional winter launches with several leading U.S. retailers, including big box chains. Now, I just want to show this picture to you. I hope I can find it. Is this going to be it? There you go. Lucky me, right? Oh, I can't even see it. Oh, doggone it. It kicked me off again. So I'm hoping you guys can all see everything here. So this is actually a ceiling fan that has a heater built into it. And like I said, it's about, I would guess 24 inches, 30 inches wide. It's not small. Let me get you. I don't know why this keeps kicking you off, but I want to make sure that you guys see what I can see. You can't. What the hell happened there? What the hell happened? You guys screaming at me. I can hear you. All right. This is what I wanted to show you. We are over here. We are over here looking at the Sky Fan Turbo. I apologize for that, folks. I need this other computer to always stay up so I can see what you can see. If it goes down, I have no idea if you can see me. So Sky Fan, this is, like I said, big. It's about 2.5 to 3 feet wide. It's a heater. It's a fan. It's a light. It's all of that in one, and it's blowing this heat down. So this is a hot item. I have never seen a heater in a ceiling before. I'm trying to think. I was in construction for over 10 years, and I don't ever remember seeing a heater in the ceiling. I've seen fans in the ceiling, big fans, but I've never seen a heater. So this is what the company is dealing with, their new product. But as I said, they've got other products too. Let me see if I can get... I'm looking for their link to their site, Skyplug. Now, the company says they've got 60 different e-commerce websites. 60. You would think they could get one of them right over there at the OTC markets. So this is how it clicks in. It is just a metal pin that goes inside and snaps. And their special product is this one right here, this all-in-one smart platform, which does all sorts of things. As I said, smart control for your stuff in the house, voice control, eco energy saving modes, smart smoke and CO detector, all sorts of things. So we're not going to go into any more of that. Looking at the relative volume for the company, has it been increasing? No, we're still doing roughly about 1 million shares a day. Share structure, we got about 113 million outstanding. Insiders own more than half of nope. Look over here. That's 2022. So I don't know what the insiders own. We got a total of 113 outstanding. Insiders are going to own something. Subtract that. That's our float. Outstanding. No, we can't even go for the market cap, can we? Yeah, I think the market cap's right. About 268 million on the market cap. Financials. Is the company making money? They are. We're not going to dive into it because we've looked at this company so many times. I don't mind looking at a company again and again if it's hot. This company has been growing on the charts, but I wouldn't say it's hot. It's just climbing slowly. And the name of the show is On Top and Hot. So I'm going to put out a rule right now. If you request a stock this week, if anybody requested a stock this week, don't request it next week. Unless it's breaking records, unless it's doing new highs and doing something really exciting, don't bring us another stock that we've already looked at last week. We are trying to share stocks with people that we have not seen. I'm not here just to check up on your portfolio. I may be the wizard, but I can't make anything happen to your stocks. I can find light at the end of the tunnel. I just can't create it. If it's there, we'll find it. Okay, SKYX. We got an 8K here. This just came out a week ago. Entry into material definitive agreement. The company received securities purchase agreement for 40,000 shares of newly authorized Series A2 preferred stock at a purchase price of $25 a share. So they've got somebody buying a new type of share so that they can make more money. I don't know anything about it. You'll have to dive into that. And we got a D here. What's that D? I have no idea what a D is. Form D. No clue. Not going to waste your time. I'd have to do some studying. All right. So SKYX has got a new product. They've been around for a while. They've got a new way of connecting your electrical stuff to the ceiling. And their stock has been climbing slowly over the last year, but not getting far. Is that SKYX? All right. There's our yearly chart. So we have a 52-week low of 88 cents. This was back in April of this year, and a 52-week high. This was just this week, I think. No, it was on the 1st of December, $2.57, and she is riding that 9-day MA beautifully on our yearly chart. I mean, just really sweet. All of our MAs are climbing strong. Our 200 MA has just now started to push up. It has been flat. It broke out on the flatness right there. Tried to break out, solid breakout. It is turning up. Okay, it's starting to look like a hot stock now, folks. I got to say that. All of our oscillators are kicking up and getting warm, though our RSI is falling today and the last day because it is falling these last couple of days. Come on down to our 4-hour view. Get rid of these. Don't need that one. Strong trend there. You could see it was riding that trend and then it broke away. Even to here, she bounced off of it. And that was the end right there. She took off. The biggest drop, the biggest bar she had came down to that old trend line, which had been there for almost a month. And then she jumped up over top of that 200, laid on the 200. 200 started to turn up. She did a crouch, went underneath the 200, scaring the dog out of us, came back up over that 200 and took off. That was it. She took a crouch and pounced. Look at that big rip right there, pushing the wick high to the top, high to the low, and then she's off and running. She went from $1.13 up to $2 here. That was a nice solid run. Came down underneath the 200 haul and everything else. Stayed down here for over a week and then started climbing again. Now she's pulling back down again like she did here. Now, instead of staying up over top of this 200 haul and that 50, she came underneath them, which isn't what we are normally expecting. Right now, she is on that 200 haul, breaking it, coming down to the 50, could break it, like down here. Not something we're expecting. But because she does do this, we may expect it here. So she came down and took a crouch before she took another big run. But she was underneath the 200 for a while. Not falling, but she was underneath it. So I would watch this right now. I'm suspect that she may come down underneath the 200, underneath the 200 haul and the 50, and just hang on underneath like a monkey on bars, just hanging underneath, and then start to come back up. Oscillators, everything is rolling down right now. Everything is cooling off, as you can see on the chart. Looking at our 30-minute, well, now she's come down to the 200. She's bouncing off of it. Our MAs are over our head. It could go either way. Hard to tell. Oscillators are, again, hard to tell. Everything is kind of in the middle right now on our 30-minute chart. Looking at our 5-day, 5-minute. All right, there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel here. We have a 200 squeeze, right? We've got a falling 200, a rising 200 haul, but the price is down here on top of the 200. There's our 50. We need to get that price on top of the 50. Now, it does bounce off of the 200 a lot. The 200 haul I'm talking about. And when she goes underneath it, it's normally a crouch, normally comes back up. So right now, I would be looking for a setup for a 200 squeeze. It doesn't look very strong, but it's in position. So if this is a stock you're interested in, Lee, you may want to watch it now. She is bouncing off of that 200. Get up on top of that 50. She could easily break through that 200 MA at $2.35 and continue going. Remember, if you aren't, here's something else I want to say. I was going to say sell on the green bars as it's rising. But because you keep bringing the stock up, I get the feeling you may have bought into the stock a few times, right? You may have averaged down. And let's say your average right now is down. Let's say the price is $231 and your average is up there at $350. But when this thing fell, let's say it fell down to $1.50 at one time, and you bought a bunch of shares at $1.50, but you're still in the red right now because your average is up at $3, and we're down here at $2.32. Well, do you know that you can actually sell those shares that you bought for $1.50? Yes, you can. You can go to your broker and change how you sell your shares. Every order is its own order. We average them together just to make it easy for us. But when you buy shares at $3, $2, $1, every one of those is its own purchase. I bought a Jaguar for $30,000, a Jaguar for $50,000, and a Jaguar for $100,000. That doesn't mean each one is worth $60,000 average. No, the one that's $100,000 is worth $100,000. The one that I bought for $30,000 is only worth $30,000. Well, that's the way your shares are, and that's the way they sell. So if you want to sell your $1.50 shares for a profit, when you're in the red, your average is way down below. Go and change first in, first out. There is a place to go to your broker and change how you sell your shares. First in, first out is normally the most expensive shares. Last in, last out is normally the cheapest shares. But if you're not sure, you can actually choose cheapest shares. The shares I'm going to sell are the cheapest shares. And if you're not sure, go to your transactions. Pull up every order you did for SKYX. See the cheapest shares you bought. If they are under the price, you can sell those shares right now for profit. Pick the shares you want to sell. But if you only bought 200 of them, you can only sell 200 of them. You start selling more shares, you're going into the next batch at a different price, right? I do have a video out there for this. It's called Taking Gains on Red Days or something like that. There's a bunch of red and green balloons on the picture. That's the one that'll teach you about this. This is how you can make money even if your stock's in the red. Didn't know that, did you? So this stock is going sideways. She's ready to break out. You may want to watch her. I'm not, but you may want to. What time is it? 5:24. Oh, shoot. You know, I really wanted to get through more than 5. Oh, for God's sake, John, how come? Let's see how many more. That was the last one, wasn't it? It was. All right. I'm going to choose one. I'm going to do one more here, folks. Let's see. We see you. Thank you, Espresso. SPQS, AXXA. We got another one up here. I'm looking. Yeah, we had MAD2, made to trade. Sorry about that. SKYX. Okay. I think I'm just going to pick one just in the middle here. I'm going to go for that AXX. Nothing personal. I'm sorry if I offended anybody there. I don't mean to. All right, I'm going to go with this one here. AXXA by Kashira. AXXA. Let's get rid of that. Jump in here. Bring you over to my board. There you go. All right, I have not done anything here. AXXA. AXXA. This is on the OTC ID. This is AXXA Group. AXXA Group is based in New York, so we're in America. The company finished today at 0006, up 50%. That means, how is that? If it's up 50%, shouldn't that have jumped 003? Right? Right? It says it only jumped 002. How is that 50%? Maybe it was 4 and it went up to 6. There we go. There we go. My bad. Long day. The company is on the bottom tier of the OTC, the ID, the pink. So we've got to be cautious. We're going to find very little, if any, validated information down here. And whatever information you get, probably you should be taken with a grain of salt. So the company has a verified profile and a verified transfer agent. That's validated information. At least look for that. So what's this company about? This is a diversified fintech company with assets in private equity, real estate, technology, and financial services. Exec acquires controlling equity interest in undervalued assets. Sounds like they're a holdings company. They pick up and buy other companies that aren't on the market, and they take over their service or their product, and they build it up. They incubate the company. They give it whatever it needs, money, attention, whatever. And they build it up until it's making enough money that they can spin it out onto the NASDAQ or the New York Exchange as its own entity, its own company. And then we get free shares in that company as a dividend. That's why we like holdings companies. All right, let's just start over here with the relative volume and work our way across these things here. Wow, we got a nice jump on volume, don't we? She's only been doing about 15 million shares over the last month. Today, she did 118 million. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 times her regular volume. Share structure for the company. Oh, bloody hell. We got a lot. 4.2 billion shares outstanding. Insiders own a lot of them, almost half, 1.8 billion. We get the rest, 2.3 billion. Not exactly a low float, nowhere near. Yeah, at some point in time, they'll be doing a reverse stock split, but that's a long ways off. Looking at the market cap. Wow, you believe that? With 4.2 billion shares, 4.2 billion times that number there gives you 1.6 million. That's their market cap. Financials for AXXA. Is the company making money? Ooh, I'm surprised. They are. Over the last 4 years, they've been basically increasing. 49, 53, 63, 62. I mean, just barely underneath 63. So they've been basically growing slowly on their revenues over the last 4 years, and their profits pretty steady, about 30 million average over the last 4 years. The quarterlies, they're not doing bad, roughly 15 million every 3 months. The last quarter was good, 17 million. And they're bringing in about 7 to 10 million every quarter in profit. Looking good from that standpoint. Balance sheet. Remembering those 3 zeros, right? We got $788,000 in the bank, 131 million in total assets. Oh, yes, 48 million in liabilities. So in this little itty bitty company at 0006, we are actually holding $83 million in stockholder equity. I'm kind of surprised by that. Now, believe it or not, that's the down part. See here, 91, 93, 94, 93. We had more stockholder equity over the last 4 years than we have right now. And I'm excited about it. Looking at the, let's start with the news before we jump into the disclosures. All right, so we got current news here, 2025. How far back does this go? There's 2024 right there. So AXXA Group completes chain adoption. This was an acquisition at the end of 2024. I don't know anything about it. We're not going to dive into it right now because that was a whole bloody year ago. So I don't know what's going on with that. AXXA Group advances tech-enabled real estate monetization. The company advances tech-enabled real estate monetization in Switzerland. The company expands their software as a service-based platform with mixed-use assets. Argau, I think that's gold. I think that's gold, AARGAU. I do think it's gold. I could be wrong. In Switzerland. And the group shares a shareholder letter, a 2025 wrap-up, and a 2026 vision. Oh, I love these. CEOs tell us everything they did last year. They brag about all the goodies they did, and then they brag about all the stuff they're going to do in the future. And that's what we get in these. So these are great to read. They'll save you a lot of headaches. The company today successfully transformed its operating model from the current quarter ending December 31st, 2025. The company projects revenues of 15 to 15.5 million. Under the old model, the company generated revenues from asset ownership. Under the new model, the company operates a revenue-focused platform providing services, technology, management, and advisory solutions. Let's see what they're doing here. We expect to achieve significant revenue and growth as business optimizations are gained in 2026. The company anticipates signing new revenue-generating projects in the real estate and non-real estate markets. Business optimization gains include refinancing of existing European projects and other corporate efficiencies. And that's really all the information we get. That's all you had to say? Really? Revenues expanded, quarterly revenues expanded. Okay, that's the one thing we did notice. They're not having a problem with money. The revenues are dropping out just a little bit, but really they've been consistent over the last 4 or 5 years, very consistent. And you saw lots of stockholder equity. And right now it's actually fallen compared to the last 4 years. And I still think it's excellent right now. So I like the fact that we have all the money around this company because that's why we invest in these companies in the first place. Why she's down at this price is a little concerning. I'd actually have to do a deep dive to find out why she's so low. Why isn't this coming up faster? I really don't understand. All right, let's take a look at those disclosures. We are on the OTC ID, so I'm really not expecting to see anything over here. No, we've got nothing since 2022, which means they could have been on a major exchange in 2022. I don't know. And we've got our quarterly report right there. That came out on the 19th of November. That's going to give you as much information as you're probably going to get from the company. All right, let's go take a look now at ticker AXXA on the charts. Now, normally these 000 stocks normally look like barcodes, picket fences. You just normally, well, this has got roll. Look at this. You normally just see straight across and then it jump up and straight across. It looks very boring, no excitement. This at least has some roll in it. And what I see here is our 200 is going flat. This is catching my interest from a technical point of view. So we've got a high 52 weeks ago of 1.5 1/10 of a penny. 0014. That's her high over the year. We have been on the floor down here at 0001. Actually, 0001 is right there. What's that? That's 0002. So 0002 is where she likes to sit. 0001, she hits occasionally. She got comfortable here at 0003. And right now our 200 MA is starting to go flat. Now, we had a nice breakout. That's a breakout. That's a breakout going from, wow, 0005 up to 0013. So you're looking at, 130% run right there. That's what that was, 130% run. And she came back down a month later. A month later. Folks, our 200 is falling. This is super duper rare. I hardly ever see this. This may be the second or third time I've seen a breakout over a 200 MA when it's falling. Yes, I see breakthroughs, but it comes right back down. This is a breakout. This went up and stayed up over top of that 200 for a full month, riding on a climbing 200, climbing 20. I'm impressed, very impressed. She has come back down to the 200, broke that 200, came down to 0003, and is now starting to climb. She's got my attention. We've got a huge bar here. She is pushing up. Now, where's our 200 haul? I don't have a 200 haul. Well, there it is. There it is. My 200 haul is way up over top of everything. So everything is pushing up right now. We've got strength in the picture. All of our oscillators are turned up, every single one of them. Lots of volume coming into the picture, and she is breaking through the 200 MA as well as the 200 haul. The yearly chart isn't looking too bad. Let's take a look at our, I wanted my yearly chart. Year and a half. What was I on? Oh, all right. Back. It's been a while, folks. I'm hearing pops in here. All right, so there's our 4 hour rolling, climbing up to, now it says 0013, all the same. All right, I'm coming down to our 1 hour. I think we can start to see something here. So here's our 200, falling. It is just now changing. It's just been falling, but now it's starting to turn up, starting to level off. All of our MAs are under the 200, all turned up, all pushing the price up. Our 200 haul is turned up. Our price is above the 50. It's already broke through the 200, way up here at that 0006. We were down here at 0004, hit 0006, fell back to our 9-day, to and through the 200, over the 200, and we're staying over the 200, floating on our 9-day. All of our MAs are still climbing. It's looking really nice. All of our oscillators, all of them are climbing right now, pushing up nicely. And we are just going into the overbought right now, folks. This is looking juicy to me. I'm liking this. I really don't like 000 stocks because they normally don't move fast enough for me. I'm a little greedy as a day trader. I want momentum. I want it to take a jump and give me some money. I don't want to be holding it for days, weeks, or months. This could be moving. This could be ready to do something. Let's take a look at our 5-day, 5-minute. Riding that 0003, got up on top of our 20, then on top of the 50, pushed from 0004 to 0006, and now she's hanging on, folks. We are right there at 0005. Yes, 0005, above the 20, on the 9, with the rising 50. Folks, I'm liking it. Do we even have a 200 here? No, we don't have a 200 yet. We don't have a 200 on our 5-minute. I'm actually liking ticker AXXA. I really like the fact that she's got money. She's got money that she's making. She's got profit she's making. She's got money to give to us in the stockholder equity. That is the key thing that has caught my attention. The other thing is the technicals. She is actually rolling around on the chart, being a 000 stock. Most of the time, they just go sideways. And right now, she's not only taking heat, she's holding heat. She's not getting cool real fast. Everything here shows me she still has heat on the chart and wants to push up. So I am liking AXXA. It deserves to be on your watch list. She too has a lot of shares, but hey, all we're doing is taking gains. We're not investing in this thing down the road. We just want to see it jump, take our gains, and get out. Ta-da! Thank you for AXA. Where am I at? My brain's starting to disconnect now. Oh, where are we at? 539. Everyone keep an eye on ECOX. Another one, ECOX. Well, just looking, ECOX. ECOX, oh no, that's at the same price. 0006. Let's go back. Oh yeah, Keep an eye on ECOX. He's right. This has been flat, 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 doing nothing. We had a serious jump here. Do your due diligence. Find out why she jumped on, geez, wow. Looks like the first week of November, she went from, holy cow, 0001 up to 0009. Folks, that's a 900% run, at least 800%. That was a serious run. She's back down and she is climbing again. Yes, ECOX is definitely worth a consideration, folks. I'd look at that. I can't look at all the stocks, but we can look at the charts. RZLT. Let's take a look at RZLT for Ravi. RZLT. That is your 4-hour chart. Oh my God, look at the fall on that bad boy. Yikes. So we were back here at $2.65 a year ago. She climbed, hitting a high of $11.46, and then came down to our 200 and laid on that. And it was on, the 11th of this month. She fell from about $10.40. Oh my God, down to 88 cents. Let's come on down to the 10-day, 30-minute. Flat, doing nothing. Took a huge drop here. Have no idea why. We'll let you do that looking. And we're down here at 88 cents. Now, folks, this could be a recovery. I don't know the news. I don't know what's going on with this stock. But looking at the technicals, if you're over at Penny Boys, this is all I would have. I would tell you to wait. This isn't going to jump until we get some rungs on our ladder. All we had is our 9-day. 9-day got close. She didn't even get on it. We're not even on top of our 9-day yet. She's still underneath it. Our 20 is getting closer, not there. The rest of these are way the hell up there. When these get closer, we need to start seeing our little monkey price start climbing on top of these rungs up the ladder to start climbing. But you need to see her get on top of the 9 first. You can't climb until you're on top of the 9. Underneath the 9 is the worst absolute place you can be. And we have a red bar there. So it isn't looking too good right now. And this is interesting. I always like to find out why a stock fell. Maybe they put shares on the market, but they only put 10% more. But the stock fell 80%. Oh my God, there's 70% there to recoup. You follow me? So find out why this fell. It may have fell for a bad, dumb reason. It went too far. Maybe it should have only gone down to $6 or $7. Well, it wouldn't be too much to expect it to come back up to 3 or 4. Right? So you'd be able to pick this up super cheap and grab some gains before it went all the way back up. Just getting back common sense recovery. That's what I like to think of this as. Common sense recovery. Let's see if I got another one here I can take a look at. Well, we did look at SKYX, but I was told to look at SkyT. SkyT was a better ticker. That's your 30-minute chart right there for SkyT. On the yearly chart, we got a low of 567 back in April. Wow, she went to $24 in November. So we're looking at 400% run there, a little over that. Came back down, but we're above the 200. We are way above the 200, bouncing on a strong support here at $13.80, somewhere around there. She's bouncing that over and over again and taking off right now. I don't know why I have all these lines. I must have looked at SkyT at some point myself. Now, if we come on down to our shorter time frame, let's look at our 10-day, 30-minute. She's been on an uptrend for the last 10 days, basically. Everything is climbing. Our 200, 50, 200 haul, 20, everything is climbing. We have just had a pullback here after market hours, but we're above everything. She's riding that 9-day, pierced it here with a big wick, came back up, but now she's falling. Well, I would expect a bounce at some point. You know, you got to bounce. Think of the price as a kangaroo, not a bird. It has to bounce on something. It can jump on these MAs. It can jump on our horizontal lines. It can jump and bounce on any line on the board, but it has to bounce, which means if it gets up too high, it's flying. Kangaroos don't fly. And if they try, they're just going to hit the ground real hard. And you'll get a dead kangaroo bounce, like a dead cat bounce. So right now she's fighting. She's coming down. I think she's just going to tag onto this. She's going to get... She's just going to come down to that 20. Maybe the dynamic duo, the 200 haul and the 50, bounce off of that. but that's just my feeling. I don't know for absolute sure, but we've got heat in the chart. The chart should be watched. She's been climbing for the last 10 days, right? I do believe that covers all of the tickers that you guys brought me, at least from a standpoint of charts. No, we got one more. SPQS. Take a look at a yearly chart. Thanks for bringing these tickers in for everybody, folks. Even if I can't get to them, you should be looking at the charts at least. You see a hot chart, then go look at the news. That's what I do. I do not look at the news or the filings until I look at the chart first. If the chart isn't hot, I'm not interested. I'm a day trader. I need heat in my chart. Then I go look for wood to put on the fire. New press release, new filing. Throw that on that fire. It's going to go even more. That's what I'm looking for. So here we are with SPQS. Oh my God. A load of 000 stocks. We had a high of 0006 about a year ago, fell down to the floor of 0001. She has a median here of 0004. Look at our 200. 200 was falling, starting to go flat, and right now she's flat. Now, she could be running on a catalyst. I haven't looked at the news. I haven't looked at the filings. She could just be breaking out because of a technical. That's what I'm seeing. A flat 200 MA is a catalyst. It's a reason for the stock to run and run hard. Now, it's not going to keep going. It's going to come back. Once it breaks through, 8 out of 10 initial breakthroughs of the 200 will come back and test the 200. It'll either come to the 200 or the next MA underneath it. And if there's volume, it'll keep going after it bounces. So this is looking real sharp. All of our oscillators are going to the moon. Lots of volume in the picture. All of our MAs are climbing. Price is way up there. Jumping on down to our 10-day, 30-minute. Let me go to the hour. I need a little more space here. Ooh. All right, we've got a breakout. There's no doubt about that. Our 200 was falling right there. I mean, right where it went up with that huge bar is where it broke out and our 200 went flat. Every single MA is turned up now. Problem is our 9-day MA is too high. It's getting too far away from these others. It's going to get lost. So it has to come back. Well, to come back, the price has to come underneath the 9. Or there's one other solution. The price has to go sideways. Just go sideways. Don't fall. Don't climb. Just go sideways and let all these other MAs catch up to you. Once they catch up and hit you, boom, you can take off. A nice ricochet off of that 20 and start going. So that's what I'm hoping. Best scenario. Otherwise, I feel this is getting too high. Our price is off of our ground. The kangaroo's flying. It's got to come back down. Our 9 is too far from the 20. So I'm thinking there's going to be some down rush coming here. All of our oscillators are very strong. Everything's pushing up and looking good. I can't deny that. Let's take a look at that 5-day, 5-minute. So there's the floor, 0001. She's up here. She's hanging on to this. We've got our new MA that just came into the picture. A 50-day MA has a lot more power, strength, and data than our 20-day, which was the only one here. Now look, once that 20-day came into the picture, the price jumped off of the 9 up on top of the 20, stayed on top of the 20. The 50 comes into the picture, more data. The price respects the data. It left the 20 because it doesn't have as much data and went down to the 50. Now it's hanging on to the 50. Now it's starting to push off of the 50 because everything is rising. Our 20, our 9, giving us a golden cross. Our 50. Once that 200 comes into the picture, we could see the price go to the 200, wherever it's at. Could be above the price or below the price. But it doesn't mean it's going to stay there. It could just touch it and take off and go again. So right now, all of our oscillators are climbing. All of our MAs are climbing. We have 3 green bars pushing up. It is looking good to me. We've got a lot of 000 stocks that have got heat. I don't often see that. It is rare for me to see that. And I don't normally look at a lot of them. So we've got 3 000 stocks that you should be looking at because all of them right now are pushing up. Ta-da! There's a little bit of extra for you, folks. I may not be able to get to the stock information, but I can get to the charts. Whew, where are we at? 549. News today, phase 3 trial failed. I traded the dead count. Oh, is that on that one that took the big drop from $11 down to 88 cents? Yeah, if you fail a phase 3 drug trial, you've already got millions of dollars invested into finding the drug. Then you've got millions of dollars invested testing the drug through phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And all three of those trials take anywhere from 3 to 8 years. So not only did you lose all that money, you lost all that time and all the people who had been there with you through all of that. When that phase 3 fails, you just broke a lot of hearts. You broke a lot of hearts, and people sell, swearing, taking a loss. They just do. And that's where it's at right now. And I would not expect it to come back. If that's why that one stock fell from $11 down to 88 cents because of a failed phase 3, unless they have a successful phase 3 trial come up right behind it, that thing's going to be down for a long time. I'm sorry if any of you were invested in it. That is a sad state of affairs there. Okay, folks, I am done. I can hear my brain popping and fizzing. Literally, I spend so much energy on penny boys, trading with everybody through the day. We are looking for hot stocks all day long. And then I'm trading my own stocks. And sometimes I turn my back and lose money. And it just makes for a hard day. Then I'm doing due diligence for you guys from 12 to 4. And then I do all of this. Whew. And all that without any THC. How do I manage? I missed my 420 appointment. Thank you, folks. I appreciate your time. Thanks for bearing up and putting up with me. I know I'm not perfect at this. I try to do the best I can. And since I'm not being paid, what do you expect, right? Thanks, folks. I'll be here next week, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. As long as Christmas don't fall on Thursdays, I'll be here, folks. All right. My mouth is not working. I feel it going numb on me right now. So I've got to say bye before I fall over. See you, folks. I'm lost.